Hello, everybody. Welcome back to episode
29.
29. We're almost to 30.
Yep.
And I'm almost 30, which is another story, and I could cry. Anyway,
Roll that intro.
Intro. What?
All right.
Sorry. Anyway, hello. Happy Halloween. Halloween
up,
was
everyone?
yesterday, and we didn't do anything, which was great.
We just had like a little horror movie marathon.
We stuffed our faces with food and snacks
Yep.
and other things. Ew, that sounds dirty. I meant beer and like. Anyway,
It's a good thing that we put not suitable for children on our channel.
it is suitable. I just think it's boring for children to watch stuff like this right now. But anyway, I hope you guys had a great and safe Halloween and that you had fun, even though it was on a Monday and the least fun day. And I'm talking to people who celebrate Halloween and like live somewhere that celebrates Halloween. I know not everywhere.
I know. I wonder what places don't.
Although I think a lot of the
Really?
world doesn't.
Interesting. But thank you guys for liking and subscribing and commenting and engaging on all of our past videos. And if you're new here,
and for
please
this video,
don't forget to like and subscribe. We appreciate it a lot. Yeah, I mean, we enjoy doing this, and we hope you guys enjoy the content and us conversating about, these topics and just us talking in general. But
yeah, it's been fun. We're learning a lot, and we enjoy reading your guys' comments, and it's fun. It's fun for us, and
it's very awesome to get perspective from everywhere.
It is. It's reassuring in a way, because sometimes, like, you start to think maybe your beliefs are just stupid. Like maybe you're just like don't know what you're talking about, or like you're overthinking things, which can happen. But then we hear perspectives from you guys who don't live in the same country as us. And we're like, oh, so we aren't the crazy ones. I mean, we could be crazy in other ways, but like it's just nice to see other viewpoints.
Yeah,
Instead
definitely.
of just another American who was fed the same education as we were,
Or who chooses not to look outside of, the bubble that we can easily become trapped in here.
So my
in the United
cousin,
States.
this is just like a quick little story. Her dad lives in Tennessee, which is in the East Coast. And she was telling me today, okay, so by the way, preface, Taylor Swift tickets, registration started today. Woo!
She was texting me every 10 minutes. She was texting me. She's like,
how
check,
far are you in line?
check.
How
and
far
I'm
are
like,
you in
I don't
line?
know. And like, I have to open my phone and check.
We're diversifying. We're trying to get that damn pre-sale code, okay? Anyway, so what was I saying? Oh yeah, so her dad is in Tennessee. So like one of the locations, we're like, okay, well if we can't get these ones, like maybe we can go to like Nashville. And I was like, okay, maybe we can stay at like your dad's house or whatever if it came to that. Don't think it's going to. But she was like, yeah, he would. And then she tried to tell me this funny story last time she talked to him. And she was like saying how she wants to move to Spain and like X, Y, and Z, And he goes, well, are you sure it's safe there? And she's like, I don't think it's any less safe than living here. And then he goes, I don't know, you should do a little more. I don't know about that. It's like, it just shows you how like sheltered our parents' generation can be. I feel like unless they had a reason to leave the country, whether it's for their kids or X, Y, and Z, like if they're from here, they think like this is like it. Like everywhere else to some people here is like a third world country.
Yeah, I can see that. I could see that.
I could too, because I used to think that way when I was a teenager. I used to think like America is the only like first world type country, even though I knew on paper it wasn't the only one. But like I used to think that the lifestyle was like only like this here. Everywhere else it was like they're lacking in so much ways. Whereas now clearly my perspective has shifted once I became an adult, because I can think for myself, as we encourage most adults to do. Not all do that though. So yeah, I just thought I'd share. I don't know where it was gonna end with that, but
yeah, we hope all of you guys had a good time if you did celebrate Halloween.
I don't think a lot of people do, but I don't know.
I'm sure other countries do enjoy it.
They have different like variations, I think. Yeah, you're right. You're probably right. I don't know. What did we watch? We watched what movie?
What was it called? The House on Haunted Hill.
It was so cheesy but so funny.
And I wanted to rewatch 13 Ghosts.
Yeah, but
It's
they
an
wanted
old
us
movie.
to rent it, and I was like,
Yeah.
we're not
It's,
renting.
it's an older movie, but it was. I feel like there was a time for that like cheesy,
I love trashy,
that
cheesy
cheesy
Halloween.
like horror movie type thing. Like there was a time for it.
Yeah.
Because now everything is very, I don't want to say overdone, but it's very like CGI and
Or it's been done.
animated and yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I feel like now it's kind of nice to like look at that stuff and be like, oh, it's so bad that like you want to watch
Yeah,
it.
but imagine in 20 years from now,
Yeah.
that's going to be wild.
be, like,
Looking at the
3D.
90s movies, that's going to be wild.
Anyway, okay, so topic today.
So, we haven't watched any of this video, but I saw some other people react to this video, and it seemed like people were very interested in listening to it. So, it's called 6 Lies America Told Me About Europe, and it's done by someone named International Carl.
Also, keep in mind when we say America, we're talking about United States
Yeah.
99.9% of the time. I know to a lot of people who aren't from here, they don't understand that. Like they think like, oh, you're just ignorant and selfish. You just think you're the only part of America. No, we know we are not the only part of North America. We're well aware.
Yeah,
But it's just a habit. Like that's just what people
Yeah,
call the states
yeah.
here. They just call it
America, yeah.
They call Canada, Canada. They call
For
Mexico,
future
Mexico.
reference, for future reference, just so you know,
Yeah.
we're talking about United States. But
and also because the video says that, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming they solely mean the states.
yeah. And I just want to apologize if I have little sniffles because I'm
Same.
sick again because of her.
Same. Anyway,
All right,
you're welcome.
whatever.
Just kidding. So yeah.
So let's
like
get
I
into
said,
this.
International Carl, and we'll link his video down below.
We hope you guys enjoy this as well since it's our first time seeing it. So, all right, let's get into it.
Hey everybody, welcome back. International Carl doing another video for you. If this is your first time to my channel, please right now stop and hit the like button. Consider subscribing, and as always, hit me in the comment section because those that have subscribed to my channel know that I'm always active in the comment section. Now, this video, we're going to talk about a couple lies that the United States pushes into us as Americans growing up. And let's talk about it right now. Let's get to it right now. Lie number one. This one is a funny one to me because in the United States, it's always, I don't care if you're a Democrat, I don't care if you're a Republican, I don't care if you're independent, I don't care where you're at on the political spectrum. You're always going to have a politician telling you that
They hate our freedoms, our freedom of religion, our freedom of speech,
It's true.
our freedom to vote and assemble and disagree with each other.
that's right. They hate us for our freedoms. Can you believe that? As if nowhere else in the world has any freedoms. Like Europe. You know, in Europe, they act like if you come to Europe, there's just no freedoms. What freedoms do I not have here in Europe? You know,
I mean, he has a good point.
Oh, sweet. So
because-
he's in the UK. Okay.
Yeah, so he's giving the perspective of like moving from America
Got
to the
it.
UK.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so like what opened his eyes.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, honestly, it's so true though. Like the politicians really do make it sound like oh my god, here is the most free, the most proud. And
Yeah, like you're chained to something.
yeah, but they do
if
make
you're
it
in
seem
another
like the rest of
country.
the world is like
like
not
third
free.
world country. Yeah.
Like, but as I've come to see more and more, and when we travel and stuff, I'm like, these people seem pretty,
Fucking happy.
free
to
and
be.
happy to me. Yeah. Right.
That's funny. Yeah, that just goes to say like with what I was saying earlier
Yeah.
about my cousin's dad, and then also like even when I was a teenager, I
Yeah.
had that stupid ignorant perspective.
Well, yeah, even what you were saying, because looking into Spain and other places more like to live and stuff, just looking into it, there's actually a lot less crime than here, than in the
Yeah,
States.
totally. And they are
A lot less
functioning
gun-
society.
And I would rather go somewhere with a lot less gun violence.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
America's number one there.
Yeah.
as these are Western democracies with Western values and culture that has been exported to the United States. And it's become its own thing. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but freedoms exist here. I'm still scratching my head. What freedom do you have in America that I don't have here? Let's talk about freedom of speech, for example. In America, you have freedom of speech. In the UK, for example, you don't have freedom of speech.
You can get a gun here. That's your freedom.
What
Sorry.
you do have is freedom of expression. Slight different tweak, but let's give you an example. In America, you can be as racist as you want to somebody. You can walk up to me, walk up to any black person and say the N-word all day long if you want. Where in the UK, you really couldn't do that because at some point you will cross a fine line of inciting racial hatred. So if you define your freedoms based on your ability to call somebody an N-word or call some Asian American some type of offensive word, by all means, you can have that freedom. I don't need that freedom. But other people in America talk about it like freedom for guns. Ooh, guns, guns, guns. They want to take your guns. Well, let's see. Here in the UK, can you have guns? Yes. Can you have a rifle? Yes. Can you have a handgun? Yes. What does the Second Amendment say in the United States? It's highly regulated. So what is it here in the UK? Guess what? It's highly regulated. There's lots of regulations around what type of gun, where you have to store that gun, where you have to keep the ammunition, what do you have to do for the maintenance of that gun? Highly regulated. So you still have the freedom to have a gun. So if you define your freedoms as being able to have as many guns as you want in America, okay, fine, no argument. But I think that's a lie that they sell, that nobody here has any guns.
You know, I would think too that I'm sure other countries, I've actually heard somewhere else that Switzerland people actually do have a lot of weapons like handguns and stuff, but the training and the qualifications are way more extensive.
As they should be.
And that's what I would think something like UK or other places that do allow weapons, they probably have, like, they're so strict on who gets them, and the training and qualifications are probably super hard to get through.
Yeah, it's way more difficult, and you probably have to have way more of a reason, like a valid reason to have it.
Yeah.
You know, as here, I don't think it's that extensive.
Which I think our process here is way too simple, especially in certain states because it goes state by state. But I think it's way too easy for people just when they turn 18 to go get a shotgun or any gun, you know?
I mean, I don't know the exact process, but it can't be difficult if so many people can get their hands on it.
It's more difficult in California than Texas, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, because it's not sold. The laws here are different.
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah.
But as like a whole, when it
Federally,
comes to guns, I think that should be a federal issue, and that shouldn't be a statewide issue. I think that
should be the same all
you either
across the
want
board.
everyone to be just as safe, because I don't want to cross a border and now be like, oh wait,
I can get shot.
I can get shot
Like
here,
at
blah
any
blah
corner,
blah.
yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, is not the first thing that crosses my mind when I go to states that
Well,
allow it. But
like if we're traveling into like Texas or Florida where the gun laws are way less strict, and you know people can open carry and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't want to feel like, oh, well, I don't come from a place like this, so like I don't have that protection. You know what I mean? But it's stupid because I don't think I've ever been in a situation where I'm like, thank God I can carry this gun on me.
Knock on wood, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I don't feel safe 99% of the time when I go out. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not like, oh, I feel safe everywhere. No, there are situations where I'm not, but like at the same time, I'm like, it would just be nice to know that like no one here has a gun. Then I'm allowed to carry it just in case someone fucks with me. You know what I mean? I don't know if that made sense. Maybe I was talking in circles, but yeah.
Not true. Number 2. Social housing is a bad thing. It's something that you're supposed to segregate from the rest of the population. So, for example, in America, especially in LA where I'm from, or Southern California where I'm from, social housing, Section 8. Well, that's usually in a separate side of the city, not being seen. I don't even know where it's at because where I grew up was nothing but beautiful homes, single family homes, no social housing. Where here in the UK, just in Europe in general, it's all sprinkled around you. For example, here in the UK, I live in a beautiful big house, beautiful executive style estate. I have a nice car, but guess what? On this estate and on several new estates, they all have social housing and they do things that are different in the United States or that they do here in the UK that they wouldn't do or they don't do in the United States. You could be on social housing, but guess what? You can partially own that house.
Wow.
So that way you can be on the track. So you can buy 10% of the home, 20% of the home, 50% of the home, and try to get all the way up to 100% of the home like me or you do. So That's a different strategy that they
That's pretty awesome. That's actually like giving them a chance to build something up
Yeah, I didn't.
from.
I'm curious to know like how they go about that though. Like how do they vet people who they know are going to actually eventually like
Are you saying
keep
like how
up
do they?
with their payments of that? You know what I mean? If they are on like some type of
Well, from what I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone who lives in like UK or other places that know the exact what happens. With the social housing, if you are in a certain situation, do they cover like 100% of the rent until for a certain extended period of time? That's what I would think that they do.
I would think that they cover like a
Maybe
percent of it.
80% of it or something.
So what I'm thinking is like, okay, say they cover like 50% of the rent.
And you have to
And
come up with the other half.
How are you now gonna own a percent of it? Because well, it's like, okay, well, if you can own a percent, why aren't you paying more than 50%?
Maybe that's all they can pay, but then when they're able to pay more, they can then boost up to put more towards.
That's what I'm
having it.
saying. Maybe he'll explain it, but
Yeah.
pretty like that. I'm curious to see how they would go about
Yeah.
like
Let us know.
if you know, yeah.
Let us know in the comments. Yeah, let us know details about like the social housing kind of like system there in Europe or wherever you guys are from, because I know most other places have a different type of social housing than we do here in the U.S.
Yeah.
Continue.
strategy that they do so that social housing is good for everybody, because that way the kids get to interact with all people from all social and religious economic backgrounds.
That's very
and you as an
smart.
adult get to work and meet and mingle with people from all different backgrounds. I think the neighborhoods are better for it. They're safer for it. Less crime, because guess what? If you're in an executive style estate, well, guess what? You want to keep your home value high. You want to keep it nice and looking new. And that's going to put pressure on the social housing to also keep their house nice, keep the estate looking nice and new and fresh. So I think that's a myth. And I think that's something that should be revisited in the United States.
Sorry, one last thing. You would not catch them putting like Section 8 or low income housing in like
Beverly Hills.
Malibu or like, you know, like places. But I think that's such a great idea to do something like that. And someone brought it up to that person who's running for mayor, who's like a billionaire. And he kind of like, he just said that he'll try to make it available to wherever it's like possible to be available, which
Well,
means it's
yeah.
probably going to be in the more, you know, more crime filled areas of the
That's
city.
usually where Section
That's where,
8 is,
yeah. But that sucks because then that just puts them back into that environment. The people who were in that bad situation, especially
Yeah.
kids who were born into it.
Yeah.
If you put kids who were born into a nice area and it's still low income housing so they can still work their way up from that, that probably gives them a whole different view of growing up.
Right. Or just at least like in like a middle class. It doesn't have to be like,
Yeah, no,
you
like
know.
luxury, but
Yeah.
yeah, spread them around so that way they can actually get different experiences growing up.
Yeah. And then like have certain regulations. Like, yes, you have to make sure X, Y, and Z is like up to par. Like, don't like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I
have
do, yeah.
standards for the way of living there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
it's
that
an interesting
way,
thing.
Yeah. Because I'm telling you, surroundings can pretty much change
Shape
someone's
you, yeah.
confidence.
Yeah.
And it could shape your, whatever you're telling yourself, your ability to accomplish certain things. Like your surroundings are probably, to me, like the biggest factor. Like if you're in an area where like no one's motivated or people are just like constantly in fear mode, fight or flight,
Yeah.
like it's going to be a lot harder to accomplish what you possibly could versus
Yeah.
like you're in a more like inspirational surrounded
Or just
area.
more like a spot where you feel comfortable walking home or walking
Yeah.
alone or just like things like
and
that.
you're also surrounded by people who could potentially
Maybe share the same
help
mindset as you or
you,
something.
yeah.
Or help inspire you, yeah.
and
Yeah.
it you know it could bring out the best in like certain people.
Yeah, I
But-
agree. Interesting.
Yeah.
Number 3. In America, they teach you this, that somehow being a hard worker means coming in early, staying late, never taking a vacation, and definitely don't call in sick. That is like the biggest mistake you could ever make, faux pas you can make. I'll give you an example. When I was working for a large airframe manufacturer in the United States, I remember a friend of mine, we wanted to take 2 weeks off and go do something. Our managers looked at us like we were crazy because we wanted to have the audacity to take 2 weeks off. And mind you, we didn't take any days off prior to that. We just wanted to take 2 weeks off in a year so we could go do something. They were like, no, reject it, slim that down to a week. And I'm thinking, isn't that my time off to relax, to recharge my battery so I can come back to work? No. Now, I think minds and hearts have changed a little bit in the United States back from when I started working, back in the early 2000s, or mid 2000s, I should say. But that was a faux pas. Well, here in the United Kingdom and here in Europe, for example, it's encouraged to take time off. You get 20, 25 plus days off in mostly all European countries. I think by law in the European Union, you have to have 20 days off. So it's encouraged to take time off because either you use it or you lose it. And for example, I think Sweden, if I can find the article, it's on the screen now. But if not, Sweden is actually doing a trial where they're reducing the work hours to 6 hours to see if it increases productivity. Because
Probably would.
employees,
I think it for sure
employers
would.
are seeing.
Yeah, this is a topic that I know we've mentioned in other videos too, but it's such a big topic. It's just like, it's almost like our work hustle mentality here is kind of toxic. Like,
It's
I'm
extreme.
not saying it's hard because when you have a goal for yourself, you kind of do need that mentality a little bit. But when you're working for a company that doesn't really care about you, it's not good to have that.
Well, it's like it comes at your expense.
Exactly,
It's
because
exploitation at some point. and
they're
it's not-
benefiting everything and you're really getting nothing out of it.
Yeah, and most office jobs, especially, like people are getting their work done in the first couple hours, and they're shooting the shit after that. So now,
Waiting,
yeah,
so they can get the hourly pay. Just waiting,
so it's like, wouldn't you just,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, it's stupid.
There was I think a study. Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, I'm saying like, so shorter days would just make more sense. Like, pay them a little more, have them come a little less. They're gonna know business means business. I come in, I do my shit, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Versus, oh, I have to be here till this time.
Even though I finished everything I had to do in like 3 hours.
It's dumb at that point.
Yeah.
I also think it's really stupid that this is not really like UK, America differences, but I think it's really stupid. A lot of jobs are making people go back if they don't need to. It's like,
Oh, instead of being
saving-
remote.
yeah, it's like, wouldn't you rather like save money on like renting out office space and stuff, like,
Well,
and let them work from home,
I think
let them save on gas? Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
quality of life is probably better. But I know some people are really way more social and they want to
Traffic.
be like around
Yeah.
there. But
that's fine. Give, like, there's ways to work around that. Once a week, go meet up at a office space. Like,
that's
it
true.
doesn't.
like
Yeah.
voluntary.
In a lot of
Yeah.
places, it's like stupid how they. Anyway, that's totally off topic. But yeah, you're right. We did kind of speak on this here and there. I know that from my experience and everyone else I know, like, it's almost comical nowadays to be like, oh, I don't want to go tomorrow. Like, what should I say? Or even if you are sick, oh, how do I word this? And it's
Yeah.
like there's times where I truly am sick and I'm just like, I feel guilty for calling in because I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
know?
That's a type of guilt that's been put into us from probably certain jobs when we were younger.
yeah,
Like they kind of like almost feel like a fear to go ask for time
it's
off
stupid.
Yeah.
Like you
because
owe
you
it.
don't want to get scolded.
Like, yeah, and then people treat you like shady the next day. They'll be like, you were sick, really? What was wrong? And it's just
Yeah.
like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like,
Work culture here is weird. I think we're the only ones that have such a
I don't think we are the only ones,
Well,
but it's unfortunate that we deal with it. It's stupid.
well. I'm saying for like being like the wealthiest and top country,
We're not the wealthiest. We
we
just think
the
we are.
the people's well-being and like quality of life doesn't seem to match that scale.
If you're not suffering and flexing how much overtime you did, you're basically a slacker and you're lazy. That's pretty much how they make it seem out here. Granted, yes, people are kind of like waking up and like
Yeah,
seeing.
but then there's also a lot of scammers too that will be like, buy my course on how to get rich in the next month.
That's a whole nother discussion.
that the employees are more rested and more focused when they come back to work. Number 4, America sells you this, that capitalism and consumerism go hand in glove. It's like this cycle. You have to work to buy, to work again, to pay for what you buy, to buy some more stuff, to then work again and go down this continuous loop of working to live. And in Europe, one of the things that I find, I think is a beauty and a benefit of working and living in Europe is that there's more of a work-life balance. As I just talked about in point number 3, is that you have time off to actually do stuff. And you don't just have this endless working to consume. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We go on vacation, so we're consuming what I would call, we are consuming experiences, but we don't live to work, we work to live. And
Right.
that is a benefit of living in Europe, and I think that is great. And I think the U.S. sells a lie to its people by telling them that you have to work hard to then buy stuff and never do anything. Number 5.
Yeah. I mean,
You're also
I don't think-
you're
yeah.
also like, people used to joke at my last job and like be like, why am I even paying rent? I'm here all the time. Like, why do I need to pay rent for? I should just be living here at work. So that's where I
Yeah.
spend 99% of my time, and it's like kind of sad because it's true.
but what really is backwards here is these corporations and people who rely on consumerism, they target the people who are not on the higher part of the ladder.
People
of
who are
income.
living paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, because
they're
they
like,
know that they don't know financial tactics to come and step up the ladder. Like, they know that they're going to probably go into more debt. They're going to just buy stuff they don't need. So they just target them, and that puts those people in a cycle that never ends. So they target the financially illiterate people more, because they know the people who have more money are less likely to spend it that much.
Yeah, I mean, we all have impulse bought here and there. I mean, they make it so easy with Amazon. Like, how could you not sometimes?
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. The ads, huge fucking, I mean.
Yeah, they
clearly.
know who to target. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Hey, you, when you sniff, can you go like that?
Is it picking
sounds
up a lot?
nasty.
Sorry, guys. It's her fault, though. She got me sick. All right, let's go.
Which kind of ties into the first one I said, but it really is on the Republican right side in America. They always preach, especially during the Obamacare era, 2012, was all about these death panels. They literally produced a video where they were throwing grandma off a cliff because of social medicine.
What?
Make no mistake about it. President Obama and the Democrats who supported Obamacare began throwing seniors off the cliff back.
The evils of social medicine, that you were going to have death panels if you got sick. I mean, how ridiculous of a lie that is. I mean, it's a bold-faced lie. I've lived here 11, 12 years. I have yet to ever see a death panel. I have known some older people. I know some younger people. I know myself. You can walk into any hospital in any country in Europe, and there's not a single death penalty. What do you expect them to say? Oh, sorry, you had a heart attack last year, Mr. Carl, but since you had one last year, we're not going to treat you for this heart attack because the panel has refused your care. On a side note, you kind of already have that in America. You just have it through the insurance companies because guess what they do? Decide not to cover you. They say,
So crazy.
it's a pre-existing condition. I don't think you can do that anymore, but they'll say that, or they'll find a
think you
way to
can.
deny coverage. They'll make it
could be
so
wrong.
high to cost to do it that you have to do it out of pocket. And guess what? Now you're bankrupt. So that loops right back to number 1. How are you free if you have to live with the pressure of going bankrupt and not being able to pay your bills? Because guess what? You have the audacity to break your hip, get sick. I don't know. You pick it. So those are the 5 things that I think that the United States.
I was watching, I listened to, I don't know if anyone has heard of Zane and Heath podcast. So they're kind of goofy. So I was listening to them the other day, and like one of the episodes they were saying that they were out one night. I think like Zane was out one night, and then they are eating or drinking, and then they see like this girl hit a homeless dude. Like,
Oh man, with their car?
yeah, and he was in pain and like yada yada yada. And when they call 911, he's on the phone with the operator, and the person's like, okay, is a person responsive? He's like, well, he's not saying anything, but like he could if he wanted. It's not like he's like passed out or unconscious. You know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, but is he like, they were literally asking him like 10 times, like, yeah, but is he responsive? And so it was like, okay, is that the way of saying like, are we not sending out an ambulance or something? Like, he was just so confused. He's like, I don't know, like whatever. And then what's it? And I don't know what the actual like agenda was of the person on the operator.
Yeah.
If they were trying to say like, we need this person to like check off if we can come or not, or if like what stuff to, I just think like, okay, if you're on the phone with someone, like you're the response person,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
the what's
yeah.
the word, I don't know,
I know what you're
can't
talking about. Yeah.
if someone says no, they're not responding because like, you know, whatever the case, but they actually could respond if they wanted to, they're just like in agony, like make your best fucking assumption and you tell me who's coming in with what gear, you know.
I mean, if
And
someone
then
gets hit by a car, I would
and
say
then I
either way,
forgot-
just send someone.
listen to it if you guys know that podcast. But then there was another, and then like Heath was chiming in and he was like, yeah, this one time X, Y, and Z happened, and my friend, my friend was gonna call the ambulance on me, and then he called the ambulance, and then before they got there, they said, call the ambulance back and tell them, do not come, like, do not come.
Yeah, we've
I was
joked
like,
about that. It's funny, but
holy shit. I was just kind of it's not even, I mean, it's funny because everyone's fine,
yeah,
but at the same time, it just like really shows like that we've adapted to that norm here.
yeah.
Like even they were like, no, I'm fine.
Please don't call the
Cancel that
ambulance.
ambulance.
Yeah. I'm
Do
sure all
not
of you
bring
guys
that
out there
in.
that are from other places, I bet all of you can't understand why ambulances would cost like $2,000 to $4,000, and we don't either. But
we
yeah.
don't either. I don't think they should cost anything. I think at most maybe $100 just to like, because it's time and whatever, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
But I just like, I don't know. When I heard that the other day, I was like low-key kind
But
of
I think a lot of times ambulance rides aren't even usually covered by insurance.
I think insurance covers a little bit. I'm saying insurance or not, I don't think it should cost more than like $100
No.
for someone's out of their pocket. Period. Like
It's ridiculous.
just cover gas. It's like
Yeah.
and the paychecks of the people, you know?
Yeah.
Like it really,
Which also another thing, the EMTs get paid like nothing.
they get paid like minimum wage.
Yeah.
Maybe $1
They get paid a
more.
lot less than they get paid probably less than a Starbucks like person at the register.
I don't know how much they make, but
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not good either.
Yeah.
Okay, it's number 6, right?
I think so.
The United States lies or misleads its people on purpose to further whatever big business or whatever political agenda that they have to the people. I'm going to leave you with a bonus one, which is kind of strange if you look at it. Because number 6 is this. In America, every day, all students around the nation get up every morning and say the Pledge of Allegiance. You pledge yourself and align yourself to the United States flag and to the republic for which it stands.
One nation.
Now, that's not something that's common in Europe. In many Western countries, I don't know of any other Western country that makes its kids get up every morning. I do know of one back in 1938, 1942-ish time. Those kids used to get up and actually pledge allegiance to their flag and to their Führer.
Person.
Yeah.
But I
That
don't
is
know
fucking
if that's
crazy.
something we should necessarily be doing.
I
Don't
don't-
get me wrong. I love my country. I'm very patriotic about it. I love the 4th of July for all its. My country is never perfect, but I think it can get better. But that's mine. Hit me in the comments. Tell me what you think. And like always,
All right.
He's funny.
And yeah, I mean, those are good points. That I'll never, looking back at it, I will always just think how weird it is that we would every morning.
Yeah. We
And,
brought
like,
this up too.
Yeah,
before
in one of the other videos, but it's just like, it is such a weird thing to like, every morning the teacher would be like, all right, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Can you close it? Oh, wait, no, because you're sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, like everybody get up. I'm tired of this.
Yeah, it's just strange. And
Well, what he said at the end, he's like, I'm patriotic. It's still my country. We could do better. Here's the thing: we could do better. They are choosing not to. It's not like, I just truly can't buy the fact that politicians as a whole are stupid enough to not know how to fix a lot of the issues here.
I
It's
don't
almost
think
they choose not to.
They do know how. Are you kidding me?
That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
you have all these other countries who are doing amazing things and they have so much progress, and it's not like it's illegal to look over at other countries and see what's going on, you know, like
I think that they're well aware, like we were saying.
yeah,
and
they just it
choose
benefits
not
them to keep it this way.
Yeah, they see where other countries are lacking, like we're like the elite are lacking for the sake of the greater good.
Yeah.
They see, well, I can be twice as rich if I don't give a shit about the mass. Well, why not? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Hoarding
do.
wealth is a disease.
Yeah, and also just like, yeah, I don't know, like the lust for money is.
It's weird. Like we all want to be comfortable. Like
Don't
shit.
get me wrong. I don't think money is bad. I think what it does to certain people who have too much of it, that's it can be bad. Because I do think that there are people who are very wealthy that are good people. I don't think that everyone who's wealthy is a bad
Yeah,
person.
that's not what I'm saying.
And I don't think it's a bad thing to work your way up to have more money, but I just think it is bad if you kind of like
It's an excessive amount.
put
Should
people
not be in one person's
down along
hands.
the way or like run over people along the way, or like ruin people's lives along the way, or do things that you know are just for your best interest but you're really hurting other people. I think that's
Yeah, but what happens when a collective are doing it that have power to do that?
Then we're all
that's
fucked.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's not just a couple of entrepreneurs
No, I know.
that are being greedy and like finding loopholes to not pay taxes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
that's one problem. But
that's not the biggest issue.
the fact that there's laws in place that allow that is the issue, and it just shows like
Yeah.
they don't care for such a divide, a financial economic divide. Like they
Yeah.
don't care.
Because it benefits a lot of people at the top.
Exactly.
Yeah, to keep things super divided, it creates so much more excessive wealth for the top when it's so divided.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I will say it again. Billionaires should not exist. I don't care what you've done in your life. I don't care what you've cured, what you've created. Like billionaires should not exist, period.
I think, were we talking about it? I think one time where it's like, what if they made like a, and I'm not talking about like, this is a tough one because there's going to be people who think it's very bad, but
Just say what you have to say. Like, it's your opinion.
Imagine if there was like a cap, right? And I say at like 500 million, which is a shit ton of money that could last 10 lifetimes. But so say if no one in the world was able to have more than $500 million, and if someone get past that point, whatever excess past that gets distributed to other social programs or other things that could actually benefit us as a
Gasp. Oh my God. That would
society.
be so bad. That
I
would
feel
be
like
torturous.
that's like, at what point do you have to be very greedy to be like, well, no,
Yes.
I need more than $500 million.
Exactly.
Like,
To some degree, it's just pure greed.
because like
It's
who
not-
the hell needs that much money? And I understand, like I'm saying, money is it can open doors for a lot of things that you want to do in life. I get that, but at a certain point, you're just like really just like, what's the point of this?
Yeah.
Like, I can do literally anything I want in the world. I could buy anything I want in the world and still have money for 10 lifetimes.
Well, I don't know the exact logistics, but I know most people who have like, you know, they own that much money. It's not like sitting in an account. It's
No, I
in
know.
like investments and yada yada
Yeah.
yada. So, regardless, like I agree. 500 mil is perfectly fine.
That's even a lot. I feel like that's
Yeah.
even pushing it.
Yeah, I mean that'll secure some type of generational wealth to where
Yeah.
now the next couple
Yeah.
generations could
Yeah.
now, if maybe the worth has decreased a little, like now they could work up to that, like whatever, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But like, oh my God.
And
billions?
certain people I've heard say back to that, well, like, don't you want to promote people to entrepreneurs to have like a very high goal? I'm like, 500 million, like that's a really high goal.
Yes, it is. I don't think anyone has contributed enough to to human society to be worth more than 500 million. I don't think Elon, I don't think Jeff, I don't think any of these people have.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you
imagine
have not cured every disease
no, I know,
on the
but
planet.
imagine all the excess after that. How much money that would equal up to that could have gone back into like the world for
That's
good
what I'm
things.
saying.
Yeah.
It needs to be like allocated
Distributed, yeah.
elsewhere, because didn't Elon say, like, because people are like, he has enough to like end homelessness in the whole world, and
I
he
think
said
like all
if
those people do.
I understand.
Yeah.
I think they said just him alone.
Yeah.
This was not too long ago, or maybe a year ago. I don't know. And he said, if I knew that this money would go to that, I would do it. But he knows damn well it's not. There's so many greedy people who are going to put blocks to trying to funnel that elsewhere to meet their agendas. Because that's just the whole fucking world. It's all just like me.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to die. You're going to corrode in the fucking ground or turn to ashes one day. And the fact that you care that deeply, the fact that you care that deeply about what happens when you will not be thought of for time to come, for years to come, but you still want to have control over what happens when you're not even alive anymore. Like that's so fucking psychotic to me.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, that's where we're currently at as in a world, but hopefully things change.
That went on a little bit of a tangent.
No, it's fine. I mean, this is something we talk about regularly. It's just it's a topic that does really pique our interest, and it sucks a little bit because I think the most thing we can do is like talk about it and then just get other people to talk about it with and converse about it.
I mean, it stresses me out too. I'll see like people that are young and impressionable, like 17, 18, 19, 20, like online, and like they're just sitting here. Like I saw some post that some activists were like, it was on TikTok. Yes, surprise. What they were doing to like bring awareness to climate change, and then like all these like, it's not even just Gen Z, because a lot of Gen Z are like in their 20s, and that's fine. It's like a teenager, it's like late teens that are like, you're just jealous because you're not rich. It's like, first off, neither are you. Secondly, you're gonna realize when the life fucking kicks you, because it will, okay, when you're in your early and mid 20s, okay, like shit is not run the way you were conditioned to think it is. It's not you work hard, you become rich. It's just not like that. That's not practical. Yes, rich people have worked hard. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's not in one size fits all. Like,
yeah,
tons of people. If it was that easy,
everyone
80% of this country would be fucking rich
instead of 1%.
Yeah. And it's like hoarding wealth is just not the answer. And I think we're preaching to the choir. I'm sure people out there agree. Like, things need to be taken a little more seriously, and there needs to be like some type of shift in this country, because
I just think
we are now making homelessness comfortable for people.
I know.
And I'm not saying homeless people should not be comfortable, because they 100% should be, but we're making it almost like okay to be homeless
instead of trying to actually solve the problem.
Yes. Yeah. Let's fix why we have gone this far.
Yeah.
Why people are now not afraid to be homeless. They're like, it's just another class now here. It's scary.
Yeah.
And it should not be as accepted as it's becoming. I was telling Brian the other day, I was driving by, I was like, I've seen people today alone, this was like a few days ago, that I look more homeless than they do, and they're standing on the street.
Yeah.
And
I've been seeing that more and more.
I'm like, look at, I don't wear anything impressive, and even I look like shit compared to them. They look way more clean and put together than me, and even they are like in a condition that they have to crawl their way out of. Like, it's fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. It's a bad situation, but I think we're gonna leave you with this.
Yeah, excuse my language. And
but yeah, if you're still here, thank you for sticking through this long, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and watch out for our next video next week.
Have a good day, guys, and a good weekend, and thank you. Yes.
Peace.